everyone, and welcome back to another movie of the week. And the movie of this week was Mirror Mirror from 2012. So if you haven't watched it, watch it now. If you're new to movie of the week, as we talk about a movie here, you guys come below your thoughts. And in 2024, we're doing franchise and reboots and things of those elements. So I'm actually doing kind of 4 different Snow White movies, and we did Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from 1937 for last week. So if you haven't watched that movie and watched the video, do that now, and then watch Mirror Mirror, and then watch this video. So I kind of picked this one because I don't really, the next 2 that I do, there's a specific reason why I wanted to do it, and then the first Snow White just kind of made sense, and I was able to talk about all those things about Disney movies and everything. And so I definitely wanted like another one that was kind of like, they're trying to do a live action version of Snow White, you know, many years later, what they could do with it. And I kind of forgot a lot about things about this version, I guess. And it follows some of the same elements. It's kind of crazy to see Julia Roberts that way, but I feel like this feels obviously much in a greater direction than the last one, where it's technically, which I kind of love. This is what I love about comparing movies, and this is why I really wanted this year to be this way, because it's like 2 different, you know, IP. I mean, no, not 2 different, same IP, but how they tell the story. And it's kind of interesting too, if like, this is how the story is told, you know, in this time. And if we, you know, compared one from the 70s, how it would be different because of just like where the world is at that time. And especially, you know, now you can do so much more with CGI and everything. And so it's interesting to then see what they do with the next Snow White version that's coming out, I think this year, if not next year. Next year, the movie, like, they filmed it such a long time ago. Why does it take so long to come out? Come on. But anyway, so this time you see more of her like as the princess. Like, you see more of why the queen treated her this way, and they actually say mirror mirror on the wall. And I actually, after watching this movie, I read the original Grimm story. And in the original Grimm story, and I think in the first movie, they never, and I'm saying the first movie is the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they never said mirror mirror on the wall. It was just like something like, show me the fairest, what is the first line before the fairest of all? I don't remember, I'm forgetting it now, but it was a mirror mirror. So it's something where it's like, it's one of those things where it's like they say things so much, like I feel like the story maybe got, you know, and it's like game of telephone, like over the years, you know, the story gets changed slightly and there's different versions. And so I'm sure that it kind of, the mirror mirror got around, and so kind of people remember it as mirror mirror, but that's not the original. Also, the original story of Grimm's isn't even that bad. I mean, she's like dumb if you read it, because like the person tried to poison her multiple times, and in the end, like, there was no true love's kiss. And it's something that makes me crazy. Like, why did they add that in the original movie? Because it makes you think that it was in the original IP. It's like all the true love's first kiss, and it wasn't that. I think they did it in the original to kind of show like you have to be with a man, but it's something where like in the IP she ends up with him anyway. But it's, I don't know why they're like, you gotta force the kiss or whatever, because that was in this version, which we will get into. But there's definitely was more where she, you know, interacted more with, it was Armie Hammer, which is like, it was Armie Hammer who was the prince, and she definitely interacted with him more, and like it was more evident, like it wasn't just like one passing where, you know, they actually would fall in love. And so it was something also kind of the same story where the queen wanted her out and she had to fake a death, and so then she's with these dwarves, and they added this whole thing with like the townspeople are like poor and she's like helping them, but then the dwarves are thieves. Which, you know, and when you're comparing this to the first movie, it's like the first movie was like all those animals, like she was interacting with all these animals. So I guess if you want to make a comparison here, I guess those townspeople would be it. But it's kind of crazy that the dwarves are like thieves. But anyway, she gets, you know, she gets to stay there, and you know, at one point she does cook for them, but it's like, okay, like one meal, it's fine. And it wasn't like overly, like she's being motherly and doing all these things for them, like it felt right. And then it was something where they were like training her. Like, it was crazy. They were like training her and like she's learning how to fight. And so part of me is like, yeah, like that's cool, she's learning to fight. But a part of me is like, are they just making up for the fact like the original is so like sexist? Like, is that the reason they're doing it? It's like, you know, I feel like sometimes in media they're just like, oh, we gotta show feminism, blah blah blah, so let's just like have the girl fight and like have her fight and all this stuff. And it's because they're overcompensating for something that's not there, and they're trying to prove something when it's like you're overly trying to prove like it's a little bit too much. Part of me felt a little bit like that, and the fact that she was able to pick it up so quickly too, like come on. But in the end, everything seems fine. And then the queen like really wants to marry him, so she puts the prince under this spell, like the puppy love spell. So in the way Snow White wasn't poisoned, like the prince was poisoned, which is such a different take. So like that I feel like is the biggest thing, it's like the prince is poisoned. And I don't know if it's something where like over the years like different stories of Snow White has the prince being poisoned and that's why they wanted to try that way. I'm sure there has to be at least a few, but like I don't know if it's enough to really say it, like, you know, with the mirror mirror thing, or if it's a way that they wanted to get the man and the prince more involved, so it makes more sense that they really fell in love. So I don't know the exact reason, but then it's like weird and they're trying to like think of things to break the spell. And then she's like, what about this true love's kiss? And like a part of me feels like that's even worse than the true love's kiss that was in the first original movie. Like it just is even more cringy because she's literally like forcing it on him. So I don't know. But anyway, I guess it breaks the spell and then they end up together and everything's happy, and the queen tried to poison her at the end, so I guess that was their way of bringing in the apple and the poison apple, because that's something that's, you know, so big with the Snow White stories is the poison apple that like makes her poison and all this stuff. It's also Snow White, I feel like it feels very similar to Rapunzel where she's like poisoned or something, where she's like put into a sleep and she's like in sleep and it's like a true love's kiss. I don't know, but at the end everything's happy and they're all happy. So with some things are similar, some things were different. I don't know, I feel like it was their way of trying to do a live action one. I mean, I'm sure they did live action ones over the years, but you know, have like a big cast and try to be, you know, more feminism with it, I guess. So I don't know. But this video is long, so I'm gonna end it here. And then the movie we're doing for next week is Snow White and the Huntsman, which is also from 2012. So it's kind of interesting. They had two different kind of versions of Snow White that came out in the same year. I think like that's sometimes even more interesting because it's like it's at the same time, but it's like so two different interpretations of it. And yeah, this one was supposed to be a comedy and like the next one's not really a comedy if I remember correctly, so I'm excited for that. But you know, comment below your thoughts about this Mirror Mirror movie, if you want to talk about Snow White in general, and then watch Snow White and the Huntsman from 2012 for next week. Thank you guys for watching, like, subscribe, and bye.